Welcome to
Grab Life by the Horns.
Powered by Legacy Builders Global, and we are Jennifer Pecan and
Jan-Mark Pecan.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Grab Life by the Horns. Today we have the topic, the power of words. Of course, we were inspired by our own clubhouse room today we just had before. And we always have such an amazing crowd, and so really like intelligent people. They say so many different true words and have like really deep thoughts into different topics. And we were so inspired by this clubhouse room that we thought, well, why not choose for today? And it was all about like limiting beliefs and the power of words. And especially I was surprised today because I thought that we really are already into this topic. And we are really going deep into this topic for about like four years right now, and try to really understand the deeper sense of that and try to live with this with no limiting beliefs, to be open to everything, and really try to make use the words in the right direction, or in the right follow, I don't know, sequence. Thank you. So this is really and this is exhausting, especially if you never put like so much thoughts into that. It's really exhausting, and I got another great tip today. I will not share it today. First of you, I want you to welcome Jan-Mark and ask you directly, what were your thoughts of today?
Well, it's always amazing of how, when you realize how little you know about like a topic, you are like doing, implementing, trying, getting coached on for years, and you really think, okay, now I'm like getting it narrowed down. I know what it is all about. I'm self-aware, I'm self-conscious, and I can handle that. And then you realize there are so many different perspectives of it that you have never thought of, and this, like, especially when it comes to the power of words and to the beliefs they shape, it's amazing of how much difference like one word or two little words actually make in terms of how people perceive what you're telling them. And especially when because today we also talked about like what it does with kids, and how you should talk to your own kids, and what we're trying with Felix, and we gave some examples. And it's really this these things are crazy when you realize that, okay, I'm doing this, but you are still not at the full potential of what you could be doing, and you immediately feel a little bit bad about it, but you get this like bad feeling in the stomach. But at the other hand, you are like, okay, let's get over that, and let's just reconcile and move forward and just change it. And this is always for me, it's also sometimes I'm beating myself up if something doesn't work the way, or if I don't behave the way I want to behave. If I procrastinate certain things, then I start not doubting myself, but I start talking to myself. And I'm sure a lot of people, you know what I mean. It's like you talk to yourself and you're like, why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that? And how could you let that by? And how could you let that happen again and again? And remember, it's a decision if you repeat it more than once. And so all the things, but it's like a lot of people, and I'm not excluding myself, here is like we sometimes we talk very negative about ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's not helping us, because if you beat yourself up, what is there any good for? Is like you are just like getting in a really bad mood, and then if you are in a bad mood, you're going to be more likely to take it out on other people. That it actually moves from one, let's call it a loss for now, that or an area where things didn't go as you expected them to go, or as you wanted them to go, or where you did not behave as you wanted to behave, but you let that then influence all the other areas where you are actually excellent and where you're pushing forward, and you carry that that doubt over, and it spreads like cancer. And this is what what my initial thoughts are on that topic. That like I'm aware of what I'm doing, but it's still not easy, even after 4 years, when I catch myself talking negative to myself or having this negative thoughts, to get like rid of them.
We had a very wise man today as our guest with us, and he was saying as well, you know what, like all the things what you have already as a limiting beliefs or as belief, you are raised with that usually. Like your parents told you that, your family, like all the people who were close to you, they told you this for years, and it takes a while until you get rid of that and like to reprogram yourself. And this is like, we should not forget this, and talking to yourself like in a bad way like you do, like I had this as well. And I remember when we met like years ago, you told me this as well, that I should not have to talk about like bad about myself to myself, and this was because like my father like told always, like when I did something wrong, it was always stupid and all the things like that. So, and this was really like he was hammering this into my brain, and I believed that. So a lot of times when I did something wrong, or it was not in this way I expected, I really talked bad to myself as well. And this is and with this change, what we started like 4 years ago, you learn as well, you know, to love yourself and to respect yourself. And this is something really, really important, because this is something as well you need in order to attract the positive things in your life. And what I came up like a little bit too late for my for this round this morning was as well that actually, even though my parents were not big believers in church or in certain kind of religion, but we had to what means beten now in English?
Pray.
Pray. Thank you. We had to pray every evening before we go to bed, and I was in a nursery who was linked to a church as well. So we are Christians, and this is or we were because I'm not anymore. But anyway, like the thing is, and I like these traditions as well on Christmas and all, you know, all this kind of stuff, and this praying and this things what you are learning in with this praying is nothing else than values, that you can get values from, like, not directly from your parents, but in this case from the Bible. You can live with this, and not all values from the different religions are bad. Like sometimes they're maybe a little bit misunderstood. I think like in the basic they have a good meaning. Some of them a little bit misunderstood by the one or the other. Anyway, and there was another man saying today, like, you know, like our goal and our mission should be to pack the backpack of our children with bright values, and this is so beautiful. And that was one of the highlights as well from one of our other speakers, and I wrote it down because like the highlight was my highlight then at the end, and I wrote it down. because this is actually what we have to do. Like we have to, once we understood how powerful words are, and that this is the reason why we make something or we don't make something, and that we are the only person who is responsible for our life and our success in life and everything what happened to us or for us in life, depending how you see it right now, is that we continue giving this thoughts and this knowledge about this to our children, that they don't have to have this hard cut from the limiting mindset, limiting beliefs mindset, to this limitless beliefs mindset. And this is what we're doing with Felix as well.
And it's what just came to my mind is because you talked about religion, and I don't want to open this this discussion here, but one thing that came up is what is interesting is that as far as I know, and you're happy to correct me if any of you know different, but in every religion, as far as I've learned, they have some kind of thankfulness built in, like be thankful for. It's no matter if you if it's the Bible, the Quran, if it's Hinduism, Buddhism, they all have that in some this shape or form, this gratefulness built in, and that you as a human should be grateful for what you have. Now then, there are certain other things on limits and stuff like that where you might not be agreeing, but that alone is something that what crossed my mind right now is because we're not big churchgoers, as you heard, but one thing which we maybe should put on the agenda is starting a ritual that for dinner, because that's mostly the meal we all have together, is we say a couple of sentences of what we're thankful for, and that will make that for our son as well, in order to start that ritual. Because if you believe in God, or what God ever is none of our business and is your private business alone, but to put that as as something and implement that, because those words, I'm grateful for that I have a roof over my head, that I have food on the table, that I have electricity, that I was able to play with a friend today, if it's for your kids, or that you were able to invoice a client, or that you received a nice phone call, or whatever it is like those words. To come back to the topic, they are pretty powerful, and I'm struggling with having that set up as a ritual where I'm like saying that to myself, because this is the thing, you have to thinking those words has not the same effect, and I realized that than actually saying them.
Yeah.
Is you don't have to yell and scream them from your balcony. It can be like in private when you are in the bathroom and you wash your hands or whatever, if you don't want to say them out like in public and loud. But it's like if you say them, they totally have a different influence than if you think about them. And it's vice versa. It's the same if you have like a bad thought that crosses your mind for a second, and then you push it aside and replace it with something else, it doesn't have the same influence in that case not so good way, or limiting way, than when you are saying it out loud. And I think it has it both ways, and this is what I was just thinking about, is when we should put that on the agenda, because we're working with affirmations also for our son. We have them for ourselves. I think I talked about that before as well. I have an app for that, because I'm struggling to repeat that over and over to myself. So it's good to have an app that just repeats it basically to you and gives you different kinds of affirmations. And what I'm not doing, and that's what I realized, is I'm not reading them out loud. I'm reading them and I'm smiling or whatever, and I actually should be reading them out loud, even in order to make sure I'm strengthening and I'm nurturing that part of myself.
Yeah, it's. I just thought it's really funny, you know, like in as a children or as a child, I did not really like it to pray before I went to bed, because it was like sometimes I liked it. It gives me at the end, I feel like a part of, like, I felt something a little bit more safe. But on the other side, like when I was tired, I was not every evening in the mood to pray. And then there was a time as well, it was uncool to pray. So, and we stopped it, like we just stopped this routine because nobody really believed in that. And then it's funny because, like, as well, like when we started this podcast, we said, well, it's Crab Life by the Horns. We are not really the motivational and inspirational speakers, and for sure not the spiritual speakers. But now we have this topic, and it might be a little bit strange for some of you to hear that from out of our mouth, these words. But it's really, and it's not, you know, like, we are really hardworking people, and we are super disciplined and all the things like that. And I believe, like, of course, like all these words do nothing in your life if you not start acting. So just to make this clear, like, you can do all day affirmation, it will not change, because there is only one person who can change it, and this is you. So you have to start doing something in order to get what you want. But there's a difference if you do something not believing and you can make it, and if you do something believing that you can do this. And this is part of a practicing of a daily training as well. So the thing you have, you train your body, your mind, and all the things like this as well. And this is part of, like, when you, doesn't matter in what area you are working, if you're working in sales, if you are a secretary, if you are like an assistant or a CEO, doesn't matter. You have your areas where you have, like, what is your strength and what you are bringing to the table. If you have to negotiate every day, if you have, like, to, you know, as a secretary, to talk to people and figure out, like, what they want from your boss and how you can support your boss in the best way. Or you're doing sales and how you can get to the next close in that way you want. Like, all the things like that you have to practice. And a lot of people forget they have to practice basically their daily job, and the more you practice that, the better you will be, or the better you will become. But on the other side, if you practice in with this mindset and with this belief, well, actually, you know, I'm only good at that I am, and practicing will not bring me any further, or I'm too old to practice new stuff, or I'm, you know, this will limit yourself, and you will be not as successful as you can be or become in this area when you say, well, you know what, this is the next level, and I'm sure if I can manage this, and if I know this is like the next thing, and be more positive, and I'm young enough to understand all this amazing new technology, and I'm super happy and curious to learn about this. This is another thing. And when I think back at the school time, like, one of the tip of for my teachers was, when I had different subjects I was not really good at, and for a period of time it was math, and they said, well, you know what, if you are not good in this subject, you have to say this is your favorite subject, and then you start learning more in this subject, and then you become better and better. And this is nothing different. This is just nothing different. So it doesn't matter if we are, like, you know, all this, like, if we are grateful, and if we start saying the gratefulness things and a dinner, this is nothing different than meditation or praying. It just has different words for different people based on their education and in your beliefs. But at the end, it's all the same. And what I realized as well, for example, for Felix, that he loves start talking once you bring him to bed. He loves start talking about his day and what he all experienced. So this is usually the time when I'm asking him what was the best thing in your day today. Like not asking him what are you grateful for. I asking him what he really liked on this day, because I thought it might be easier. But we can discuss it on another show. It has to be discussed right now. But I don't do it regularly, and I think it's a really good point what you said, that we have to say it out loud, and to become more aware of that.
Yeah, to be honest, I just lost my thought. What I was what I wanted to continue because of that story you brought up with Felix.
I'm sorry.
So
before I was talking about the subject, that you have to make your worst subjects to your favorite subject,
So there like one of this like phrases past my brain is when you were talking about it, because you were talking about age and stuff like that. And there is this phrase like, and I'm sure you all heard about it: you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And this is a very powerful phrase if you are in that age, and you don't have to be old to use that phrase. It's sometimes you are like doing something for 10 years, and people that are like 30, they use that phrase because they have been doing something for 10 years over and over in the exact same way. And like this is something where the power of words really comes out, because first of all, you are not a dog, you are a human being. So to talk about yourself as a dog makes something with your mind already, and then as like nobody wants to basically teach you something, and teaching always has this like negative connotation, because it's like what we all think about school, like you are being forced to learn something you don't really want to learn. And you said like the right thing is you have to make that your favorite subject, and then it works. Then it's like tricks. It's not about tricks, but it's about skills, right? And being relevant for yourself, but also for society, for your loved ones. And now I remember also the other thing that crossed my mind was, because on Sunday when we had the other clubhouse room, and we had an actress there, a very experienced one from Germany, and she talked about how
111 Reasons to Murder.
Yes, and it's a really funny book. It's only available in German, so if you have German, you can get that. If you don't understand German, obviously you're missing out on that one.
It's really funny.
It's really funny, but it's that wasn't the point. The point was, I think you asked her the question about because as an actress, as an actor, you have to like play those different roles, and one of the question is like, what does it do with you as an actor or actress if you play that you have to love somebody? And she pretty much explained that, and she said, well, it's not like you're not falling in love with the other person, but when over like a certain period of time, and for them like sometimes it's like weeks, months, years, depending on if they are like in a series where you have different season episodes and stuff like that, or if you are in a movie that's going to be shot for a year almost, and every day you are shooting different scenes of it, and if you have to play that you are in love with one of the other characters, it does something, because you have to convince other people that are watching the movie that you love that man or woman, in order to make other people believe something you all know, that you have to believe in yourself, that it is that way. It's like, that's what they say, when you have to sell a product, you have to believe in the product. And in that sense, okay, not degrading it, but love, or looking like you love that person, is the product you're selling to the audience. And she said it doesn't make you love the other person necessarily. It can lead to that. And she came up with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, because they played that movie where their romance started. But she said it definitely does something with your brain, and it tricks your brain that you sometimes you think you love that other person, because it's like, and this is the power of word and self hypnosis and this stuff, is because you are telling all the time, I love you, and you act in that way, that you are like you are following, like your body and your feelings are basically following the words you are using. And that crossed my mind, because this is so because love is such a powerful feeling, and it was so interesting to hear from her that even there, like, your thoughts really follow the words you are using, even though you might be in love with a totally different partner outside of the movie world, like for her. But it's interesting to hear that from somebody that has so much experience over so many movies and series and episodes and seasons, to realize that. And I think this is something that all of us can also take away, and that I definitely want you guys to take away from that podcast, is that if, like, the feeling of, or the thoughts of love can follow those words, then, like, if you use the right words, like, all of the other thoughts definitely can follow those words.
This is so true, and I think, like, there's nothing really more to say. Like, another example maybe as well, to make it more like more visible for you as well. There's like, a lot of people, they say, well, if you are not happy at this day, like, take a pen and make yourself smiling, because this takes your brain, like, tells your brain that you are happy even you are not happy. But at the end, if you do this for a minute, like, your brain triggers your body that you are happy, and you have another mood, like, you are in another mood. And this is like, just, you know, a minute, and you already feel this difference. And the way I want to close this episode for today is, like, doesn't matter what you believe, it's right or it's wrong, you are right. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
With this, we leave you for this week. Thank you for listening, and looking forward to have you next week again. And if there are any questions, like always, please let us know, and write us a comments or write us directly. And with that, we leave you for this week. Have an amazing one. Bye, and thank you.
Thanks, guys, for listening. Bye-bye.
Do you want to get paid? Introducing Legacy Builders Global, where everybody gets paid. We don't create investors. We create legacy builders. Legacy Builders Global. Visit us at www.legacybuildersglobal.com.